I'm gonna get my coffee cup and I should be good to go.
I ain't gonna lie, guys. I was half tempted to do this episode without my shirt on because we will be talking about Alex Jones today. No, they didn't get us. They didn't get us.
What I said was, what's the bigger foul, spilling beer or spilling coffee?
Ooh, that's a tough call. That sounds like a question for the comments section. Is the breakfast foul superior to the party foul?
Well, I mean, I would say that the chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A is superior to the chicken nuggets from the frat party, yes.
That's a fair call.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You tune in for bad puns and dad jokes.
Indeed, dude. I love that there's a Listerine dispenser in Chick-fil-A bathrooms because you need to wash your heathen mouth before you eat the Lord's chicken.
Before you eat the chicken, that is correct. Hey, just super quick. Don't want to spend too much time on it. 13-0. That's what you call a perfect season. Now, of course, that means.
Oh God, you said the words.
Well,
what else could go wrong?
Well, nothing as far as the season is concerned.
Right.
Georgia won all the games. Now, but of course, that means there's the playoffs, and with the way the college playoff system is about to dramatically change, honestly, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. And it kind of needs to. It was a good idea, but they didn't take it far enough. They tried to split the difference between the old system and it just anyhow. But yeah,
I tell you what, before the playoffs happen, I'll give you a whole show where you can explain to me what's happening there.
No, it's not necessary. Basically, there's 4 teams, the top 4 ranked teams in the country. Of which there are only 2 undefeateds, by the way. And wouldn't you know they're ranked number 1 and 2? Go figure.
They're not both number 1.
Well, that's not how the rankings work, sir. There can be only one.
So
okay.
If you've got 2 undefeateds, And the final ranking is arbitrary. Is it alphabetical?
No, it's based on strength of schedule, and so if an SEC team goes undefeated, they're going to tend to be ranked higher than other factions, because the SEC team has to win the SEC championship, and that is typically a pretty tough game to win. Like LSU played really well on Saturday. They didn't put up 30 points, which is, I think, the most any team has put up against Georgia all season. So, it is what it is. But it is Me More Monday. We're running a tight ship, and I feel like there's only one. I mean, there's other memes, but I feel like there's only one mimetic thing to talk about this morning, buddy, and it's
Kanye West.
No, it's just Ye. Don't dead name that man.
I didn't dead name him. Gimp -Ye West.
How long before the next?
So Marcellus Wallace dragged Kanye out the box to pitch a temper tantrum on Alex Jones.
Yeah, okay. How long before it comes out that at least the joke is going to be that wasn't Kanye West? I mean, I really feel like that's part of the setup.
That's a fair claim and a fair concern, but also fair if you watched any of the interview. And guys, I made it through about 25 minutes of it, and I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, when you make Alex Jones look like the sane non-ADD one,
because.
Yeah.
But, like I was about to say, there will be some claims that, there was the mask, you can't be sure it was Kanye. It was Kanye.
Yeah, it was Kanye.
Yeah. Kanye has a very particular brand of, I'm not even going to say crazy just yet, not for this particular assertion. He has a very auteur brand of expression, which is wrapped up in a weird kind of scattered hyper focus. He's got about 5 topics that he's got a hyper focus on, trying to hit certain touch points, but he can't stay on any one of his things. So he wants to talk about a specific topic, but seems to feel compelled to mention the other 4 within the context of each of the 5.
No,
You see what I mean?
I see what you mean, and that's already going so far into the weeds. However, you, sir, you made it through about 20 minutes. I listened to the whole thing, and oh my God.
It was 3 hours, wasn't it?
It was 3 hours. Oh, 2.5, because the version I listened to had all the commercials chopped out of it. But it felt like 3 hours.
See,
let me tell you,
I made it through all 3 hours of Alex Jones on Joe Rogan, but that was gold. Solid comedy gold.
Well, Rogan,
and not just comedy gold. Jones actually hit some major points in there. The Rogan Jones thing, that was before we got all the actual information out about what's going on with the Falun Gong and the Uyghur Muslims and all that. And Jones sounded crazy to most people, because at that point, most people hadn't seen any of the reporting claims coming out of China on organ harvesting and slave labor activities. The closest anybody got to believing anything in that vein was they're operating these sweatshop slave labor camps in China that are so severe, and they treat the people so badly that Foxconn had to install suicide catch nets around their buildings, because it was so common for people to try and
throw themselves off the top of the building.
We're talking about a method of suicide that's so common in Korea, for example. They actually have a verb. There's a verb for to suicide, and there's a completely separate verb that means to suicide yourself by throwing yourself off of the Kong River Bridge.
Right. Yes. Anyhow, Ye and Jones.
So Ye went on Jones what, 2 days after his temper tantrum on the Tim Pool podcast, where, guys, Ye got up and walked off of Tim Pool over nothing. Right? Tim hadn't even, I think Tim, if they'd have continued the conversation, would have given him some real pushback on the anti-Semitism stuff. But Tim hadn't even done that yet. He just asked him a question, name these specific people because you've had some specific occurrences, and that was it for Ye. He just got up and walked off, and apparently stole a bunch of cookies on the way out the door.
Which is funny. I mean, I like Nutter Butters.
Hey, I'm a fat boy. I'd have grabbed some cookies.
Yeah, I might have also stolen some Nutter Butters because Nutter Butter. Okay, look, I did go through the whole thing, right? And
Nutter Butter is a better peanut butter sandwich cookie.
I know.
Yeah.
But Nutter Better doesn't. That has a whole different connotation to it. It doesn't have anything to do with cookies.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Anyhow, so I listened to the whole thing, okay, and it was a bit of a struggle, okay, but I wanted to listen to it for myself and make up my own mind about it, even though about 5 minutes in, I was pretty sure I knew what I was going to get. Like, it's not often that you see Alex Jones get uncomfortable and be like, well hold on, let me clarify. Like, woo! And he clarified a lot. Well, let's just be clear. The Nazis were the bad guy in World War II. Right. And if that's a clarification that needs to get made, like, your conversation hasn't jumped the shark, okay? It has jumped the whole fucking ocean, right? But I don't know if this is like the most bizarre temper tantrum psyop troll, whatever. I don't even know. Like, I basically, I'm of two camps, okay? There's this thing where Kanye West has decided to just burn it all down. I'm sorry, Ye, my bad. Where Ye has decided to burn it all down, okay? And he's being taken advantage of. Or he needs help. Basically, he's on the cusp of something. You know, like just a few years ago, he was still "You're a hoe and I like it," and then he flipped all the way over to releasing an album called "Jesus is King." We covered it here, and I listened to the entire album before we. Why is it whenever something involves Kanye, I'm the one that listens to the whole thing and you're not?
Well, we talked about this in the show notes this morning. I'm just not that interested in this. The only reason I'm even interested or willing to talk about what's happening with Kanye right now is because it is high SEO. It is culturally relevant to the meme war.
I feel like this is one of those don't tell them how you make the sausage things.
Well, I'm telling you how I make this sausage. I would not care at all what was going on with Kanye, except that what he's engaged in right now is nothing short of open war against conservatism, against mainstream conservatism. And I could get behind an open war of political ideology against the current slate of elected mainstream Republicans. Because as we've said many, many times on this show, with the current bench, the best you can hope for is functional obstructionism. There's no positive forward momentum for the conservative movement in the current slate of electors. It's pure obstructionism, and that's the best you can hope for. So if that's what Kanye were trying to tear down, I might just be on board with it.
Well, okay, all right. So there's the thing where, you know, he's basically off his meds and being taken advantage of, or he's actually sincere but still being taken advantage of. The one thing that I feel like I'm going to confidently predict is that he's being taken advantage of. There were a couple of times where he got out of his depth in the interview. He knew he was out of his depth, and he tossed it to Nick to finish making the point. Mm-hmm. And while there's nothing wrong with deferring to a subject matter expert, if you don't have a baseline for your own opinion or where it's going to come from, that's a problem. So, and the other thing is, and this is actually kind of sad, like Kanye, I don't know. Fuck it. I'm going to call him Kanye. Made some salient points, okay? For example, he talked about how, isn't it weird that a white man can wear a shirt that says Black Lives Matter, but a black man cannot wear a shirt that says White Lives Matter. He made some really good points about the sex industry and how there's a lot of hypocrisy in it. Like, oh, okay, well, child porn is bad, but regular porn is fine. Don't even worry about it. And there is a hypocritical element to that. He's correct, right? And he talked about the perception of black people in America, whereas, calling them the N-word or calling females bitches is terrible. But suddenly, if Beyonce and Jay-Z call themselves N-words and bitches, now it's fine. Now you've got 15-year-old black kids running around calling each other the N-word and bitches and everything. And that's all fine and great and whatever. So there was actually some good stuff in the layers of that crazy cake, but I mean, it was deep in the layers of that crazy cake. And
it was like the baby on Mardi Gras.
Look, look, long story short, not only is the positive parts of his message just going to get absolutely lost. Because again, let me stress, you have Alex Jones having to clear, let's just be clear, like the Nazis were bad guy in World War II. Like, if you need that kind of clarification, you have lost the plot, right? But back to your point, I don't necessarily think that it's just Kanye versus, let's call them, neocons for the purpose of this conversation. He is going to tar and feather everything that is not part of the established left-wing narrative, because from this point forward, and this is part of what I'm worried about, anytime you step even slightly off the reservation, be like, are you going full yay? Like, and that's going to be a thing. Like, even though we're being very critical of Ye in this segment of our broadcast, someone else could look at it and be like, man, them guys are just too sympathetic toward Ye. They feel the same way Ye does. Well, hold on now. It's a 3-hour fucking broadcast, right? A broken clock is still right twice a day,
Well, it's the same thing that happened with January 6th. January 6th was a non-incident, right? Some people went into...
Now, people went to prison for sedition.
Right. See,
even though they didn't bring guns to the building.
And like I saw Rob Reiner making comments. Hey, Donald Trump is dangerous. Da, 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 da. He incited an armed insurrection. Whoa, son. That's a lie. Even if you could credibly make the argument that there was an insurrection and that Donald Trump was responsible for it, even if you could credibly make that argument off the available evidence does not include armed.
Yeah, if even 10% of the people that breached the Capitol had been armed, we would have a different system of government. Woo! There'd be no question about that.
Pitt Danny says, free all J6 prisoners on time served. I'm going to take that a step further. Incarcerate all J6 persecutors who violated the constitutional protections of those J6 prisoners against unreasonable seizure and cruel and unusual punishment and protracted sentences and their absolute denial of a fair and speedy trial by a jury of their peers. Those people were absolutely just abused by a system that is completely controlled by people who hate you.
Yeah.
Not one person is serving time right now over the May 29th insurrection. And funny story, on January 6th, no churches were burned.
Yeah, the only people that were killed as a result of the protests were protesters. Like, cops were killed. Yeah, some fat asses died of heart attacks later on. Sure. Anyhow, look, even to make you know what? No. Look, if you're the
Crackshot says Liz Cheney to prison for treason. Crackshot, I'm going to disagree with you there. I want you to go and read the Constitution, Article 3, Section 3, and understand why I am telling you that Liz Cheney should absolutely not go to prison for treason. That is not the law.
Alex says that the left will argue that the conviction of Stuart Rhodes is proof positive of insurrection. Alex, you're 100% on that. That's why I mentioned it earlier that you have people that are now in prison for sedition, even though they didn't bring weapons to the building, which is kind of weird. Just a little spooky.
But but back to my point though, your comment that people are going to start asking you the question, are you going to go full yay on this? Is going to be that's basically it's the new J6 where after January 6th happened, everybody is the MAGA shaman. Every person with a red hat is the MAGA shaman.
The red, white, and woad.
Yeah.
Anyhow, hey, speaking of woad, transition.
Well played. Let's do the meme dump. That's enough talking about nut jobs for this morning. Oh, speaking of nut jobs, U.S. Department of Defense, $2.2 trillion missing. Government, hold. FTX, $10 billion. No, I want to correct this. Not missing.
Stolen.
Laundered from Ukrainian deposits into the DNC coffers.
Yep, stolen.
That $10 billion is half the money that was sent to the Ukraine.
Speaking of Ukraine,
$20 billion missing, not missing.
Yeah, stolen.
Let's be clear. The $10 billion that didn't get laundered through FTX into the Democrat Party by Ukrainian contributions from the U.S. government from taxpayer funds. The other $10 billion was just laundered through other sources. And I'll be fair. It might not have all gone directly back into DNC contributions illegally. Mm-hmm. Some of it was used to pay off Chinese contacts.
No, brother, I'm tracking.
Venmo, your $601 transaction now.
Oh, R.I.P. headphone users.
Oh, there's a limiter.
Oh, okay. So it was just loud in here.
Yeah, they should be okay. The statement the IRS issued was very confusing. A lot of people are going to be trapped. Is it 600?
That's something. Listen, look.
Okay,
Alex, yes. We'll come back to that.
That's weeds on this one, and we'll have to get back to that.
Hey, speaking of FTX. I'm just trying to run a small business. The IRS will monitor your transactions over $600. We scammed customers out of billions. LOL. Yeah, look, the IRS in and of itself, look, you guys either have unlimited cosmic power and an itty-bitty living space, or you don't. Like, remember when they wanted to give us the pandemic checks, the stimulus checks, whatever, and they just showed up in your bank. You didn't have to do anything. And then it was like, okay, well, why do I have to file taxes every year? If you guys clearly know more about my finances than I do.
Right, because the way it works is they know how much you owe, but they won't tell you that. You have to figure that out. But if you get it wrong, they know you got it wrong, and they can come and shit on your Cheerios for it.
Yeah, and then they can find other things that they know you got wrong and fine you and penalize you. And
why don't you just send me a bill? Send me an invoice.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but there, the IRS. What does the IRS have in common with, say, I don't know, other government institutions like the ATF, for example?
They suck?
It's constitutionally forbidden.
Well, no, that's why we passed a constitutional amendment allowing for the collection of an income tax. See, that's I don't.
Yeah, that's fair. You're right.
I don't remember.
There was no constitutional amendment to authorize the creation of the ATF.
Right.
The ATF is absolutely a rogue criminal organization and should be treated as more dangerous, more suspicious, and less credibly legal than the mafia. But I digress.
Yeah, this is one that's never gonna. Oh dear, Alyssa Milano. And look, I crushed on her as a kid. I really did. But man, she's just trending in the wrong direction. This is what happens when you live in a bubble your entire life. Because all the jokes about, why do they tell her about the guy that invented Volkswagen? And again, Elon Musk was not a white supremacist until he stepped off the reservation. Isn't it funny how that works? Like, they all loved Trump.
Alex says we're covering half the meme. You're right. I'll fix it. Probably. Or just... Where the hell is it? You keep talking.
Well, TikTok, we could just move on. Oh, no. There we go. There we go. Now we're not covering any of the meme.
No more meme.
Okay, keep going. Look, whenever somebody says, well, I'm a moderate or I'm an independent, this is what I personally think of you. Grow some balls, have some conviction, pick a fucking side.
And try not to step off the edge of La Côte d'Ivoire.
No, well, seriously, as funny as this is, okay, like, well, I'm fiscally conservative and socially liberal. Okay.
Shut up.
No. That doesn't make you a moderate. That's actually a pretty clearly defined position. Okay? I'm fine with that. Just don't come to, well, I'm a moderate. I decide based on the issue. Yeah, all of us do, fuckstick. It's part of why we have a worldview. Okay? You either think your worldview, generally speaking, is that you give the government more power to solve problems, or you take power away from the state to solve problems. Okay? And don't, well, it depends on the, listen, if you're a moderate, this is you. You can't have it both ways. Stop it. It doesn't make you clever. You're smarter if you make a decision and you're wrong and admit to being wrong instead of be ye hot or be ye cold. But if you are lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth. Anyhow, I included that one for my own little 30-second rant that I wanted to go on there. Educated people are hot. Why? Because they have more degrees. More dad jokes. Yes. Click, click.
Yeah. You said a thing, and we need to talk about it more in later on. So
more dad jokes.
Jot a note.
We did it. We hit the edge of the universe. Yeah. Aren't you excited? Yeah. It's just there's nothing to look forward to. You dedicated your entire life to a pun? Yeah, but that's all behind me now. Woo! Oh, well, we haven't even talked about this one yet. Hey, it's almost like when you hire people based on bizarre characteristics instead of like qualifications or potential. You're gonna let some absolute shitburgers slip through the cracks. Also, if you want for me to stop thinking that your lifestyle is about degeneracy, stop celebrating people like this. Because this guy's a fucking degenerate. How are you a skinhead, let's call him a rainbow person, and a thief all at once, unless that's actually not that odd in your community. That's possible.
Yeah.
That's possible.
You know, when I first read that, I thought it said non-binary Biden unclear official.
Which would also not be an entirely inaccurate headline.
Yeah. Dude, Donald Trump stole a bunch of nuclear documents that were supposed to have been entrusted to this guy.
Right.
This dude right here. Dude.
Yeah, exactly. Anyhow.
Address.
I don't need no man. I can raise my son.
Oh, that's that. Desmond is amazing.
Yep. Hashtag kid. Facts. Yep.
Oh, that hurts me.
Yeah. Well, let's declare a pandemic amnesty. This is fine. Must have suspended Twitter accounts will be granted amnesty. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. Isn't it funny how that works?
Yeah.
And then, we can get through these last, because this one just cracked me up. Why don't you explain it to me like I wear a mask?
Woo! Yeah, I told you last week when I went and voted for Herschel Walker, everybody was wearing a mask except one poll worker. And I asked him, so you guys don't have a policy about this? No, it's voluntary. Gotcha.
Noted.
That's literally all I need to know about Rockdale County.
Christmas trees are pagan. No, it's a celebration of Saint Bonifacia cutting down Dinar's oak. It's literally celebrating wiping out paganism. Merry Christmas. There's some truth to this. It's a little more nuanced.
It's a little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both. There's more nuance here, but it's still kind of cracked me up because I'm so tired of it's completely okay to look down your nose at Christianity and nothing else. Anyhow, here we go.
I'm totally comfortable looking down my nose.
Now we move into the ones that are just wrong. I'm not even reading this one out loud.
Cereal in bowl, then milk. Milk in bowl, then cereal.
I told you I wasn't gonna.
That's just wrong. Flat earthers, when they realize they have been breathing from the atmosphere and not from the atmo flat. Because, well, the atmosphere is uncarbonated, right?
Yes, I know.
Ergo, the Earth is flat.
Well, the oceans are uncarbonated.
Yeah, but they're salty.
Yeah, but they're under. Anyhow, you just this pun was fantastic, and you had to fuck it up.
But go away now.
I will.